everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly cash or trash, well, mostly weekly, where we talk about the hot comics of this week and we make predictions sure to go wrong. I hope you're all having a wonderful wonderful Sunday and a wonderful weekend. I'll tell you how my weekend's doing in about 5 hours. So I might know sooner than that, who knows, but yeah, so I hope you're all having a good weekend. Once again, it looks like we are just rolling with the CBSI Hot Top 10, no Comic Tom list, and I'm definitely not going to be trying to wait and do that during the football game. So, as it is, I'm trying to do this during the halftime of the other game. So there you go. So we got my man Unruly with 10 here tailgating, as was GT Key. Second best Bob, hoping that he'd get to watch live for once. Hopefully he does make it back and does get to watch live. So he was here earlier. Ian, what's going on, my friend? I do hope you're having a good evening as well. Geezer Skate, what's going on from Dallas? Welcome, sir. Planet Arizona, what is up? Appreciate that. Dre, what is happening? Stephen S. Let's get to the list of dumpster fires. Well, we'll see if we got some dumpster fires. I think that, I think there's some possibilities here. Chow Meow Rage, what is going on? So I'm glad that me doing this later on Sundays has worked that you get to watch. What is good, Sam? I am. What is happening, my friend? That looks like everybody that showed up, at least so far in the chat that I can see. There might be some other comments that are yet to come through for me. So, yeah. So, as always, we normally do CBSI Hot Top 10 and the Comic Top Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week. As of right now, our trend, I just updated it. Our trend for January continues of Tom not putting his video out till late on Sunday. The last 2 times I've been about finished when the video has come out. So it's a little bit unfortunate because the CBSI list very much tends to get dominated by covers, with just a few other things. Whereas the Comic Tom list tends to be a little more based on news and that kind of stuff, although they occasionally give you books that aren't really hot. So you kind of get a better mix, I feel like, if you do the 2 lists than the 1. But it appears like we're going to roll with just 1 list this week. So I'm really being very pessimistic. Over under 3 dumpster fires. We only got 10 books, man. So we only got 1 list. 3.5 dumpster fires. That would be a heck of a week for just 1 list. I think there's a much higher risk of like 5.5 miss from you, but I think that's more like it. But so I don't know that we're gonna have a rant this week. I mean, I could try to create one. I don't know if there's anything I care about enough to do. Always go with the over on the dumpster fires. There, 3.5. You guys are so negative. I get blamed for being negative. You guys are. I tell you, I'm sunshines and lollipops here. I tell you. All right, there's GT Key back. BW and Uli, what's going on? The fire graphic for the dumpster fire. Oh. Yes, please do, Ray. Well, let's see if I can make one up. All right. So, for anyone that is new here, this is how I do this. So, I'm making predictions. So, on Saturdays, I do a look back video where I look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago from the 2 lists that I normally talk about here. And on that, I always put what my prediction was and what actually happened. And I try to anticipate, based on what I've learned from doing those 6-month lists, what should happen, what is going to happen with these books. Generally, I do better on getting the direction, but I usually do pretty well getting the direction, not necessarily the scale of how much it's going to drop back or go up or whatever. An emoji for they really should. They really should. So these are the categories I throw them in. So I don't necessarily try to make specific financial predictions in terms of it's going to go up 20%. No. I throw them in categories. First up, we got our Stray Cats homie books I think are going to go up, that are up and are going to continue to go up. A lot of times, though, this really doesn't get used that much when you're talking about a hot book because it's hard for a book to stay hot or get hotter during 6 months. Occasionally does happen. Generally, it's more of a caveat on a book that maybe I think is going to back up over 6 months, but over the long term, it's this. It's usually where this actually gets used. We got our worth it books that are priced about right, that if you buy it right now, you're probably going to be okay. And in 6 months, it might be worth a little more, slight increase in value, that kind of thing. But yeah, you're probably doing fine buying it at this price point. I'll be back. These are books that you will definitely, that are probably also priced in the right range, but if you're patient, you can definitely get a deal on. You'll definitely be able to do better on, save yourself 10, 15%, maybe even up to 20%, and then I'll be back kind of thing. The traps, these are books that are around 30, 40, 50% based on my estimation. These are books that are definitely overpriced at the moment usually due to news, sometimes just due to like on a new book, sometimes it's just due to like initial hype, that kind of thing, aren't likely to hold it. And then finally, our dumpster fires, these are books that are going to drop 60, 70, 80%. We usually have a couple of these a week. Books that are just way, way overpriced that there's no way the market will sustain this value. Occasionally we'll throw on a come on man because of what are we thinking. Occasionally, usually this is with Tom's list, we'll get a whatever because the book's not really that hot. It's just there's a lot of sales, but it's not going for high value. And we'll also throw in it doesn't matter sometimes for characters that just don't really matter. So let's see what kind of anybody else has popped in here. The dumpster with the fire is going to be like just fine. I appreciate that. It took me a while to find a good worth it meme. It took me a while. And a lot of these are worth it. Chasing the giant. Yeah. If you didn't care about the character, speaking of when we can honestly go, hang on. Sorry. Get my note. So we're going to get started. We got 10 books to talk about because we only got the CBSI list. And we got Biker Mice from Mars, #1 from 1993. Because supposedly, I guess this had an animated series back in the 90s. I did not remember that. Supposedly, it's getting a new animated series. So people are paying $25 to $30 for this. This is not even, maybe somebody, if you have nostalgia for this, tell me, because I have no memory of this, so therefore I have no nostalgia for it. So to me, but this just seems like a massive, you're paying $30 for this thing for Biker Mice from Mars? I mean, who was asking for a redo of Biker Mice from Mars? I would like to know. I mean, that sounds back, yeah. Right? Hey man, hey JP. Hey Josh, what's going on? Alex is like speechless. I mean, $25 to $30. So Ian does remember it. That's good to know. Somebody remembers it. Finger Mice to the Moon. That's a cute cover. Yeah. It was so there were a few that were calling for this, I guess. I am not one of those. I don't see any way this holds value 6 months because they've announced it doesn't mean this will ever happen or in any kind of near timeline. Yeah, this is going to be back to a $5 to $10 book. I am clearly in the minority of not having fond memories of Biker Mice from Mars. It is clear. I remember this. Yeah. Double dumpster fire. All right. Next, we got a little Bitch Planet coming up. So basically, this is the next book. Amazon announced it had a deal with Kelly Sue DeConnick and Matt Fraction to work on a couple of their indie comics that they're going to try to turn into shows. This was hot, like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, not too long after it came out. People thought it was going to get optioned. Didn't happen. I've never read this. I don't have a lot of knowledge about this. Amazon picked it up, which I think Amazon has a pretty good record of actually turning these into something. Having said that, mind you, this is only going for 15 to 20, and it's by Amazon as opposed to, hadn't even heard of the company doing the Biker Mice from Mars thing. 9.885. This is still just announced. Still going to be a while. This is still easily at 15 to 20. It's an I'll be back. It's probably a $10 book in 6 months. This is probably what it's been all along, kind of the #1. There's second best Bob. What is going on? We got another man. I don't know. I've never heard a lot of hate for Kelly Sue. I'm sure there are. I mean, she's got a bit of a feminist bent to particularly this book. I've enjoyed some of her stuff that I've read. I haven't read a ton of her stuff. So, and the stuff I've read of hers has been more mainstream, but I enjoyed her Captain Marvel run, which was like one of the reasons I enjoyed Carol as a character, was that run. So, but that's about all I've really read of her. So I don't know. I've never really heard a ton of hate. I can imagine like something like this probably gets some hate, but there you go. Saying if at all, no chance. Yeah, I mean it could be. Amazon has a better track record than most, but it could definitely be a long time. So, really good book. Would be interested to see on screen. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about this one. So, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never read it. So that's what I should say. Okay. And I could be wrong. Maybe there's more dislike for her than I know, but in my little corner of the internet, I haven't heard a ton. I'm sure there is some. Next, the other side of that couple, because they are married, is Matt Fraction, and this is Sex Criminals, which I have read the first volume of this only. It didn't do a whole lot for me. I wasn't super interested. I never continued with it, but this also was picked up by Amazon Prime. I know this has got a pretty good follow. I feel like this has a bigger following than Bitch Planet, or at least I've heard it from more people. This one's also doing about 20 plus, so a 20-25 range. This is also an I'll be back though. I think this one's always had a little more value. It's always been like a $15 book kind of thing. 10-15. I feel like this is more of an I'll be back. It'll probably come back down. Again, it's gonna be a long time before this happens, but yeah. It'll be made, be good, and I feel like there's a strong chance of that. That is for darn sure. That will be worth it. Dre saying Sex Criminals will be worth it. Probably not in 6 months though. Like if the show actually gets picked up and starts moving, then yeah. Both of these, if they start moving, we get further announcements, are going to be in the worth it category because they're low enough right now. But I doubt we have any news in 6 months, which means they'll back up. Mojo most likely. Yeah. That's a good question. They do The Boys, so but yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of just not show. I don't know. I've never read further than the first volume, so I don't know. It may get worse. The first volume, I feel like you could just do they're having sex, but not really show it. So, there's a later one of them holding the book. I didn't know that. I hadn't seen that one. Yeah, it's also Zardisky. That is correct. Yeah, it's Fraction Zardisky on this one. Hey, Jay Hood, what's going on? Are you guys having trouble hearing me? Let me know if you're having trouble hearing me. So, gonna go Eagles from the Mets. Last I checked, they were up 14-7. I don't know if they got the extra point or not. Right before I went live, they scored. Planet saying volume is good for him. So, yeah, there is a tough to find variant that's worth quite a bit more. You are correct. All right, everybody saying all good. Oh, something must have happened right before the half. Then because there was like under 2 minutes when they scored that. So, all right, next we got The Last of Us number 4, issue 404. So we've been talking about the first issue. We're now talking about the last issue of the 4-issue miniseries of the comic. Obviously, the show has been super popular. This final issue, which is probably lower print run even than the first issue, which was not super high, 50-70 right now. A 9.6 went for 150. Obviously, the last 2 books I put as I'll be back. This, on the other hand, I don't care how good the show is. I haven't watched it. This is a trap. The book will never be hotter than it is at this moment. Now, maybe in 6 months I'll be proved wrong because it won't have backed up that much. But they only have 2 games. My understanding is this first season is going to cover the entire first game. And then they're going to move into, and they only have 2 games, and they're not talking about making any more. So it's only going to be a 2-season show. This isn't I'll be back. These will never be hotter. It can be a great book. It can be a great series. It can be something that's going to hold value, but it's never going to be hotter than it is right now. So if you haven't already gotten it, you just wait. And there you go. She wanted you to listen to her, not to me. That's what's happening. Only the number 1, The Last of Us, The Walking Dead. Yeah. And I feel like, the number 1's probably the book you want, although this one might be a little harder to find, but to me, it'll cool down. Once the season's gone, we'll get a delay before season 2. It'll jump back up and start season 2. And then once season 2 is over, it'll probably fade long term. So maybe if it becomes truly beloved, a truly beloved series, it'll hold higher. But I would definitely be patient on this. Yeah, this is correct. You are correct. There's not a ton of these out there. This is going to be harder to find, which means it'll probably hold some. But again, will it be hotter than it is right now? I doubt it. Next. Back again after like 3 years out of nowhere. The second print, Paulo Sequeira, 1-25, first appearance of Wolverines Daughter, Reign. Marvel Comics presents number 6. This ain't a blast for the past. This was a book that was worth a ton of money, faded basically to non-existence. And suddenly there were a couple sales this week, up over $100, it's $120. Here's the thing. Why do we care? This Daughter of Wolverine, as far as I know, hasn't been seen in anything. There's a Daughter of Wolverine that is actually a good character right there. She hasn't done anything. What are people doing? I mean, yeah, give me Laura or Dakin or Gabby. This is not X-23. Yes, that is X-23 behind me. Yes. Yeah, I'm tiny. I forget you guys can't really see that. That is my NYX. Yes. Weapon 8. Thank you. I mean, yeah, Logan's hair is sort of ridiculous in this thing. Yeah, I almost put this as a dumpster fire because I just think this is such stupid spec, but value-wise, I think it's probably a trap. It's 120 right now. My expectation is it's still going to be like a $60, $70 book in 6 months, that it's not going to come crashing back down. The fact that it's back up here makes no sense to me, but I mean, people have been specking on this thing from the beginning and they keep buying it. The teenagers strong. Well, maybe that's just they were strong and whoever he was chasing. I feel like that's what we're talking about. Yeah, but it won't be this one. So, this meltdown here. There you go, meltdown here. All right, we're gonna move along. Next, we're moving into covers. The rest of the list is covers because it's the CBSI list only. We got The Last Ronin, Lost Years, number 1, the Mike Deodato 1-in-100, going for $100. Actually, 100 to 110, barely above ratio. Again, 1-in-100s act a little differently than like 50s or 1-in-25s. But even CBSI flat out admits, how do they say this? Let me go back to it. How do they say it? Inching just above ratio is still an accomplishment these days, especially when this was likely heavily ordered. Everything about that statement screams, do not chase this book right now. There are probably more of these out there than the typical 1-in-100. It's kind of a cool cover. Last Ronin with like the ghosts of his brothers. It's a cool cover. I get it. I can see Turtle fans liking it and wanting it. But it's a 1-in-100 going for 100. I don't think it's a trap. I don't think it becomes like a $50 book, a $60 book. But I think, yeah, like a $75, $80 book. Yeah, I think you're gonna be able to do better. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should throw it in the trap category. He's saying trap, one meh. But no, just no. It's nice, but I'll wait. I would be. I don't, Alan, just because I don't have time with my day job. I could do one of these. I picked 6 months, and I've just stuck with it all this time. A lot of people ask me about doing a year. If this is what I did, then yeah, I would probably do that. But this is not what I do. This is not how I make a living. I make like $30-$40 a month off of YouTube. So yeah, this is not. So I have to have a real job, and therefore I don't do the 1 year. Someone is welcome to. I don't. I do 6 months because it's all I got time for. Pretty much. There you go. Sell it. Sell it. No one care in 2 months. All right, I can see that. I don't know. Yeah, I know the last run and stuff is not held as super great. All right, next. Let's move into, we got Power Girl. We got a little Action Comics 151. A little David Nakayama. A regular variant for once. This is not an incentive. This is just a regular variant. I think it's actually like a C. I don't think it's the B cover of 1051. I could be wrong on that. So here's the thing. Regular variant hitting the list. That's pretty rare because this was open order. So you don't get a ton of these on there. It's also only going for $10. So there's a lot of sales. It's a fairly high ordered book. There's a big relaunch here with Action Comics with 1050. They're changing the story arc, everything else. $10. It's a quality Power Girl cover. These Nakayama variants have been pretty popular like this. I'm getting a text message. I'll deal with that in a minute. At $10, this is probably worth it. I mean, if this was 20, I would say, nah, come back. At $10, my guess is in 6 months, you're looking at $10 to $15 for this cover. I could be totally wrong. But the fact that people seem to like it, it is, sexy Power Girl. I don't know that this is super. I know she has way sexier, but yeah, I'm with Arizona here. $10, this is probably worth it. My 1% did come in already. You wasted on. It's not a super over the top, but I think cover price is $6. I think it is because I think it's at least $5. It might be $6. I know for Action Comics 1000, it was like $9, or 1050. It was even higher, I think. But this, I think, is like $5 or $6 for sure. So it's double cover. I think this is probably worth it. Next, here's an interesting one. Daredevil #1, the John Romita 1 in 50 from 2011. I don't think this is a particularly great cover, but apparently it's a bit of a ghost. There are only 3 recent sales, all in January. And there's only one currently listed that I found on eBay when I looked at this a while ago. And it was a 9.2 and a slab. Some crazy person was asking $500 for. January 12th, a 9.6 of this sold for $85. A 9.6 and a slab. Then a raw copy sold for $65. And then someone posted one and for like $300, and somebody bought it for $250. This is absolutely a trap. I don't care if it's a ghost. It might be a ghost. It might very well be a ghost. But one sale that clearly appears to be an outlier, to me, I wouldn't trust that sale. Somebody suddenly paid $300 from a 1 in 50 from way back in 2011 after it was like a $50, $60 book. That I would not trust. That $250 price is an absolute dumpster fire. The $50, $60 price is probably not crazy, but I feel like that's probably a little high. That would be an I'll be back probably. I'm curious what you guys are saying now. I get it. It's Romita. It's Daredevil. Yeah. His teeth are weird. Again, it's from 2011. This has been out there for a long time. Yeah. I feel like that one sale right there. I would not trust that sale at all. I would not be looking to pay high prices for this. So it's high. Hey, Kenneth, what's going on? It's not even. Yeah, I don't care if it's a ghost or not. If it's not a great cover, it doesn't matter. All right, next 2 covers left. Here you go. For those who are wanting a little, we didn't have super sexy Power Girl. We got super sexy Emma Frost from Art Germ. This is the 1 in 100 Virgin, going for 150 to 180. Here's my comment on this. This is obviously the best, probably the most popular Art Germ in a while. Let's put it that way. Let's not say best. We'll say most popular out the gate Art Germ in a while. But odds are it's not going to hold anyway. And it, again, we talked about this last week with the cover, it's going to long-term be hurt by the fact that you can get the trade dress easily. You just have to pay for the trade dress. You're getting the same art. And it doesn't cover up, the trade dress doesn't cover up any of the good bits. It doesn't. I ain't paying $150, $180 for this when I can pay $5 to $10 for the trade dress. That is not true, but none of the recent ones have not held. There are some older ones that do pretty well, but recent ones have not. So it's mostly true. I see, Vinny, go buy the trade dress. I get it. It's not the 1 in 100, but if it's just the art, go buy the trade dress. So for me, I didn't put this in. I debated on putting this as a trap. I may regret just saying I'll be back because I feel like it's going to keep over $100. There's a couple of there's an art germ that's very similar that like it's a Thor one that's always stayed in the 100 range and just not like 100 plus range. It's never dropped all the way back. I feel like that's probably what we're going to get here. Oops, I clicked off before I clicked off. I feel like that's what we're going to get here. I can totally understand Work in Progress saying trap. If it's a $100 book, it's a trap in 6 months. I think it's probably going to still be a 1 to 150 book, which keeps it in the I'll be back range. I'm not even going to comment on that. It is a really great Emma cover. I do like it a lot. She looks good. I am a big Emma fan. It is also a high print run on this book. That is correct. Trade dress. There you go. Well, and that's the case. I would be patient. I don't think it's going through the stratosphere. I think I'd be patient, but the next week will tell for sure. The next week on this will tell. If it jumps next week, I wouldn't buy it next week because it'll come back from that number. But if it jumps next week, it might hold this number. But I doubt it. Work in Progress already dropping on eBay. There you go. I'd be patient. Then that tells you next week's not going to jump. That means, come back later. There you go. All right, last cover. A little Star Wars, and really can take a nap now. Star Wars: The High Republic, The Blade #2, the Miko Suyan 1 in 25. Obviously, we're early in this High Republic Phase 2. There are some first appearances in here. I don't know if any of those characters are going to matter. The two main characters of this book on the cover both appeared in issue 1, so it's neither of their first appearance. This one's going for triple ratio, 75 to 80. Which historically, triple ratio means it'll probably hold. It's about worth it. It'll hold the triple ratio. The last recently, right at triple ratio is still an I'll be back. It has not been holding as well. The rules have sort of shifted against that. As like part of that's just because it's been a super down year, but the rules have kind of shifted against that. It's not holding the way they were. I think I would still throw this into the I'll be back. I don't think it's a trap. The fact that it made it to triple makes me think it's going to be like a $60 to $70 book, that's going to stay in that I'll be back kind of range and not fall all the way back into a trap. I will say of the New High Republic so far, these two issues, the New High Republic comics, these two issues have been my favorite of the stuff they've been doing with this phase of High Republic. I love the first phase. I still haven't read all the first phase of books, so I'm a little behind with what's going on, but somewhere in the galaxy of meh. I think we'll hear an announcement on the High Republic project after they get through phase 3. So I think we're a little ways away. I think they want to do this full publishing line, build a base for this, and then they'll start with the projects. That's my belief. I could be wrong. There you go. Makes it older news. Like give from Mr. Fox. All right, that's it. That's our last book. So only one I call the dumpster fire. A couple of traps. Only one worth it. Everything else kind of in the I'll be back range. Still no video from Tom, which is fine. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope the rest of you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'm collecting all Star Wars. I've been getting every issue of the High Republic stuff. I'm not trying to get every cover. But yeah. Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate that. Perry, you're just in time for me to say adios, but hola. Thank you, Unruly. We're going to need it. The Bengals are really good, and Kelsey is apparently hurt, so that's not good. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that. And with that, we're going to get out of here. Again, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And, there will be a whatever report tonight, like 90%. If the game ends in truly gut-wrenching fashion, I might not do a whatever report. There's no D&D tonight because John couldn't do it, and I knew we'd start late because of me watching the game, so we just pushed it off. And then, so last night, I didn't do a whatever. Should have done the whatever report last night. I didn't do it. We're going to do it tonight, barring, like, some, like, gut-wrenching, horrid, like, I don't want to, like, speak to humans or see human loss to the Bengals. If we just lose, then it'll probably be fine. So with that, and right before we're out of here, second best Bob with the super chat. Thank you, sir. That is way too kind. I appreciate it. So you guys are gonna get to leave with a little Bear Island. Where's he at? Where's my man Bear Island? Where he is? Yes! Did you see that? You see how they reacted in the chat? They loved it. Take that, Bear Island. Later.